A level of discipline exists that makes people look at you with fear. And today, you'll understand exactly how you can reach that place. Have you ever seen that person who never fails? He always wakes up at the exact same time every single day. He does the same things and never stops. When others quit in week 3, he keeps going. When others make excuses, he shows up. And you know what people say about him? They say, "Bro, what you're doing is not normal at all." There's a very ancient system that was created by Zen monks in Japan, a system that creates exactly this terrifying level of consistency and commitment. They named it Gyoji. It's a practice that continues itself, and once you understand how it works, you'll never abandon a goal halfway ever again. But there's one thing, this system is not suitable for everyone. For it to work, you have to kill a part of yourself. A part you might not even know existed until now. But before I explain how it works, write in the comments which habit you want to build in your life the most. This helps me a lot and shows me you're actually seeking change. So, let's get into it. Chapter 1. Awakening. The story I'm about to tell you happened to a programmer named Raphael. He was a smart guy. His work was going well, but he had one major problem. He couldn't keep any habit for more than 2 weeks. The gym, he quit after 2 months. Meditation, 1 week, and it was over. He bought books, read 3 pages, then put them away. The pattern was always the same. Saturday equals full motivation. Monday equals the first negotiation in his mind. Wednesday equals total surrender. And Thursday equals promises for next week. Raphael tried everything. Habit-breaking apps, rewarding himself accountability friends, commitment, but nothing worked. Because he was fighting something he couldn't even imagine. The architecture of his own brain. Until the day he discovered how Zen monks can meditate for 800 years without missing even a single day. And no, the reason isn't strong willpower. It's something much deeper and much more terrifying. Chapter 2. The Secret of the Monks. Inside the structure of the mind, there is a rule that looks simple but changes everything. Gyoji literally translates to continuous practice without any interruption. Without interruption. Do you understand what that means? It means that since 120 AD, every single day at 3:30 in the morning in the Ai temple, a bell rings. And from the year 120 AD until today, every day the monks wake up. Not 3:25, not 3:35. Exactly at 3:30 a.m. Do you know what never happens there? No monk ever lies in bed thinking, "Today I won't go." That question doesn't even exist in their mind. But why? Because they understand something you still don't. Your brain places every commitment inside one of these 2 boxes: reversible or irreversible. Reversible commitments become mental negotiations, and irreversible commitments simply get done. When a monk swears in front of his entire community, he's not making a promise. He's changing his identity. He doesn't say, "I'll try to meditate." He says, "I am a meditator." The community witnesses it. The identity changes. Negotiation ends. A neuroscientist at Harvard University who has been studying habits for 15 years discovered something revolutionary. When you make a behavior public, your primitive survival brain interprets failure as a threat of death. Our ancestors would die if they lost status and credibility in the tribe. Your brain still works exactly like that. And this is exactly what Raphael did. He stopped making private promises. He started making them public. He wrote on paper, "I am someone who meditates every day at 5 a.m. for 20 minutes for 90 days in a row." He signed it, posted it on social media, and told everyone. His girlfriend said, "You're overdoing it and acting dramatic." His coworker said, "Bro, you're trying way too hard." Perfect. Every person he knew turned into fuel. Every morning he wanted to quit. He thought about how he'd have to look everyone in the eye and admit that he was just an average person who couldn't keep his own promise. On the third day, the first real test came. The alarm rang at 5 a.m. Immediately, his mind started its usual routine. You're really tired. This isn't healthy. One day won't ruin anything. But something fundamental had changed. The thought of failing after only 3 days and announcing it online was unbearable. He imagined looking into his girlfriend's eyes and admitting he quit again. Public declaration had made quitting more painful than continuing. But this is where the real problem began. Chapter 3. The Inner War. Even with all this social pressure, Raphael was fighting every single day. His body didn't care about his reputation. When he was tired, he just wanted to sleep. Public declaration had ended the mental negotiation, but he was still fighting his own biology every morning. That's when he discovered the second principle of the monks: non-negotiable hours. Every day you waste tons of mental energy on a stupid question. When should I do it? Now? After breakfast? Morning? Night? This decision-making drains the glucose your brain needs to perform the actual practice. You're using your fuel to decide when to drive instead of actually driving. Raphael chose 5 a.m., not because he was a morning person or loved sunrise. He chose 5 a.m. because the world was asleep. No messages, no emails, no distractions, and no excuses. This time wasn't chosen for optimization, but for elimination. Eliminating every reason that could say, I'll do it later. The first week was hell. His body fought him every morning. That's normal. The body is a machine that runs on patterns, and you're forcing it to build a new pattern. The body resists. In week 2, something changed. He woke up 2 minutes before the alarm. His body had begun preparing for something it expected. On day 14, the alarm rang and his feet touched the floor before his conscious mind even entered the scene. No thought, no decision, just movement. Here's what many people don't understand about fixed hours. The goal isn't finding the perfect schedule. The goal is removing time as a variable. When you do something at different times every day, you're asking your brain to make a new decision each time. When the schedule is fixed, the brain can't argue with something that doesn't change. But Raphael discovered a new problem. The schedule was fixed, but he was still constantly changing what he did. Some mornings, meditation felt good. Some days he read. Sometimes he did push-ups. His brain had found a new point to negotiate. Instead of arguing about when, it started arguing about what. 20 minutes at 5 a.m. became reliable, but the actual practice was chaos. The fixed schedule solved half the problem, but his mind was still searching for escape routes. He had eliminated the when, but he hadn't eliminated the what. And this is where the teaching of Dogen about forms becomes explosive, because it asks you to do exactly the same practice every single day, until your mind completely surrenders. Chapter 4. The Only Way. You think variety makes things interesting, but the truth is variety is exactly where consistency dies. Every time you switch activities, the brain has to make tiny decisions. Should I swim or walk today? Which book should I read? How long should I meditate? These tiny decisions are the cracks through which old patterns return. Raphael locked everything down. 20 push-ups, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of reading. Same order, same timer, same activity. His personal ango was 90 days of completely identical practice. His friends told him he had become dry and robotic. His girlfriend said he had become annoying. They didn't understand that being annoying was exactly what needed to happen. By week 3, his mind went to war. Every morning it screamed, "This is stupid. You're not a robot. Add a little variety or you'll burn out." By week 4, something broke. Not his discipline, but his resistance. The voice of negotiation slowly got quieter. By week 6, before he even realized what had happened, he had already finished half the push-ups. The practice was doing itself. Here's what many people don't understand about consistency. Consistency is not your willpower lasting forever. Consistency means repeating so many times that you no longer need willpower at all. Your body learns the sequence of movements, just like a dancer memorizes a dance. A researcher from MIT who studied automatic behavior for 12 years says that when you repeat a behavior in a fixed context for about 66 days, the basal ganglia of the brain take control. The behavior becomes automatic. You don't decide to do it, you just do it. On day 35, Raphael got the flu. On day 40, he was traveling for work. This is where the old pattern comes in. Sick day means rest day. Travel day means exception. This is exactly the place where you used to give up. It's where everyone gives up. Because perfect practice requires perfect conditions, and perfect conditions don't exist at all. But Dogen understood something important about interruptions. Something that changes everything. He wrote that practice must continue without even a single moment of interruption, because in that same moment, all the old patterns return. What saved Raphael when everything fell apart was that he realized practice doesn't need perfection. Practice needs continuity. Chapter 5. Practice without interruption. The lie of all or nothing has destroyed more consistency than laziness ever has. You tell yourself, if I can't do the full 20 minutes, then why do it at all? If I can't do perfect push-ups, I'll save it for tomorrow. This way of thinking creates interruptions, and interruptions are exactly where your old self comes back. Look at any professional athlete and you'll misunderstand something. They have rest days, but this rest counts as progress. Their rest is planned, intentional, not because of tiredness, not because of boredom. Rest days allow them to train harder tomorrow. That's still a movement toward the goal, but when you quit because you're tired, that's not rest. That's retreat. A river never stops its flow. In drought, it may be only a few drops, but it never stops. The moment it stops, it's not a river anymore. It's just a memory of where water used to be. Your practice is the same. The moment you create an interruption, you're no longer practicing. You're just someone who used to practice. Day 40 arrived. Airport, 4 in the morning, all-day meetings, hotel, gym. Raphael did push-ups in the airport bathroom. People looked at him like he was crazy. It was perfect. In the Uber, he meditated. On the airplane, he read a book. Nothing was perfect, but everything was aligned with the same goal he had announced 90 days earlier. This is Gyoji, a practice that continues itself. That's when others began to notice the change. His coworkers said he looked different. His friends said he was becoming obsessive. Someone even said this level of discipline isn't healthy. Normal people aren't like this. When you hear things like this, it means you're moving in the right direction. Normal people get normal results. You're not here to be normal. You're becoming unbreakable. But there's something nobody prepares you for. Unexpected things that appear out of nowhere. Things you can't schedule because you don't even know they exist. Chapter 6. Pre-solutions. Your kid gets sick. Your car breaks down on the way to the gym. Your boss keeps you at work late. These are the killers of consistency, because you didn't decide beforehand how to deal with them. Whenever an unexpected obstacle shows up, you're forced to make a decision under stress, and decisions made in moments of chaos always choose the easiest path. The obstacle wins because you're fighting a battle you were never prepared for. Zen monks have practiced without a single day of interruption for centuries. Earthquakes, war, famine, the practice continued. But how? They don't decide when the obstacle appears. The answer already exists. If the meditation hall floods, they go to the dining hall. If the dining hall burns, they sit in the yard. No meeting, no discussion, no negotiation. The bell rings. The response is automatic. Raphael wrote down every obstacle that had destroyed his consistency in the past and created a pre-solution for each one. Rain, push-ups in the garage, guests at home, silent practice. That hangover that shouldn't happen, but if it does. 2 push-ups, 1-minute meditation, 1 page of a book. For every scenario, he already had a response. When X happens, I do Y. No thought. No negotiation, only execution. The power of this method isn't just maintaining the sequence. Its real power is that you no longer spend mental energy on decision making. Your brain knows that whatever happens tomorrow, the practice continues. This certainty rewires your entire nervous system. A behavioral psychologist from Yale who has studied decision making for 20 years says, when you decide in advance, you remove decision fatigue from the critical moment. The prefrontal cortex of the brain stays responsible for healthy willpower to execute, not to decide. Day 70, Raphael's practice had become completely automatic. Sometimes he would wake up without even remembering doing the push-ups. His body simply moved through the sequence like a programmed machine. His girlfriend's mother visited for a week. At 5 a.m., he went into the bathroom and did push-ups. The practice continued because the answers were already written. Day 90, his personal ango was completed. 3 months of practice without even a single day of interruption. But something much deeper had happened. He was no longer the same person. His friends literally told him, "Your consistency has become scary." And his response was perfect. Great. Chapter 7. Transformation. When your discipline makes others uncomfortable, it means you're finally operating at the right level. Your existence proves that everything they say is impossible is actually just uncomfortable. That's why they call you obsessive. That's why they say you need balance. They need you to slow down so they can justify staying still. But you're not doing this for them. You're doing it because you found the secret. Consistency isn't doing something every day. Consistency is becoming someone who cannot live any other way. When you execute the Gyoji system, public declaration, fixed schedule, uninterrupted method, pre-decided responses, you're not just building habits, you're rewriting your identity. You're no longer someone who tries, you're someone who is. And when this happens, when this transformation becomes complete, people look at you and say, "How does he do it?" And the answer is simple. He doesn't do it. He is it. Now the question is, are you ready for this level of transformation? Because this isn't about discipline. It's about death and rebirth. The death of your unstable, half-committed self, and the birth of your unstoppable self. The Gyoji system doesn't make you a better person. It makes you a different person. Someone people look at and say, "This isn't normal." And when you hear that sentence, you'll know you've finally reached where you're supposed to be. If this video changed the way you see discipline and consistency, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos that will change your life. And in the comments, write what your public declaration is. What habit do you want to build with the Gyoji system? Remember, the consistency that scares others is the only consistency worth having. If you stayed with me until now, thank you for your attention. And now, if you're looking for a Japanese system to break addiction and old habits, your next step is to watch this video.